Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron Mackenzie-Lafergie. Cirein-cròin is a mythical beast hailing from Scottish folklore. This giant sea monster is said to have been able to feast on whales and shapeshift at will. It's believed to have been a scourge of the seas, often using deception to attack fishermen. But what if it wasn't just an awesome myth, but actually existed? Let's explore. If you want more what if videos, check out our biggest what ifs playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if Cirein-cròin was real? First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Those outside of Europe may not be aware of the pronunciation rules in Scotland. So here they are. There are no rules. Alright, I'm exaggerating a bit, but you'll notice that the name Cirein-cròin may be pronounced somewhat differently than you would assume. Thankfully, it isn't nearly as confusing as some other Scottish words. I did some research on it, so I think I have the proper pronunciation, but feel free to correct me in the comments. And now, back to the video. Cirein-cròin is an enormous beast. How big is it? It's so big that... okay, I don't have a joke response. But, as an old Gaelic saying goes, translated into English, 7 herrings, a salmon's fill, 7 salmon, a seal's fill, 7 seals, a whale's fill, 7 whales, a Cirein-cròin's fill. And if a creature needs to eat 7 whales to be full, it must be pretty darn huge. Of course, tales of Cirein-cròin tend not to focus on the whale-eating aspect, since human legends tend to revolve around, well, humans. And tales of Cirein-cròin tell of a rather interesting strategy to mess with people. Legends tell of the beast taking the form of a small silver fish, who would wait to be caught by a fisherman, and once taken upon the boat, it would change into its large form, eating the fisherman. One might ask why it goes through all this trouble when it could just destroy the boat easily without all the trickery, and I wouldn't really have an answer for you, although it's possible that this was meant as a sort of test, so that it would only eat people who were themselves attempting to eat fish. It's a bit weird, but hey, it makes a great story. Plus, it gives me something to talk about. Speaking of which, it's time to look at how the world might change if Cirein-cròin really existed. Of course, the most immediate result would be a decrease in fishing. If fishermen were in constant danger of inadvertently pulling in a sea monster that would savagely kill them, the job wouldn't exactly be popular. Many who might otherwise have gone into fishing would likely choose less perilous jobs. However, this wouldn't stop all fishermen. Those who did still take up the job would be seen as very brave, since they would be putting their lives on the line for the good of the community. Particularly in honor-based societies like Japan, fishermen would have been held in much greater esteem historically if they were risking their lives at the hands of a giant monster. However, the fish caught by the few brave fishermen would not prevent fish populations from rising substantially in coastal regions. Of course, Cirein-cròin would need to consume a good deal of fish as well, but the fish eaten by the creature would be absolutely negligible compared to the fish saved by the limited human fishing. We might see the ocean more resembling the stories of early explorers to North America, who told of being able to dip a bucket in the water and come out with fish. However, the effects wouldn't be limited to more fish in the water. This change would have a number of secondary effects as well. The limited ability to fish would cause many to move away from the coast, since their ability to find food would be hugely impacted. Without calories from seafood, we would need to increase the farming of vegetables and other meat in order to feed the population. Currently, the average Japanese person eats over 154 pounds of seafood per year, compared to just 15.8 pounds consumed by an American. This means that there would be a lot of calories to make up from other sources. Much of what is now natural land and forest would likely have been turned to farmland in order to sustain the growing population. This could, however, be difficult on small islands like Japan, since a limited land area would make it difficult to replace the fish with other land-based resources. In such cases, it's likely that the population would be much smaller than it is now. Furthermore, with the fish supply being very low, it would be quite the delicacy. This wouldn't be the first time culture caused something to be seen as more delicious. When European settlers arrived in North America, lobsters were so plentiful that they sometimes piled 2 feet high. This caused them to be deemed the cockroaches of the sea, and were considered food for poor people and criminals for many years. However, as lobsters became a popular canned good, cultural norms shifted and they began being viewed as a delicacy. In this way, many fish that might otherwise have been deemed cheap and mediocre, like tuna or even Chilean sea bass, might be seen as a delicacy if only a few people were able to eat it. Later on, as machinery and automation became more common, it's possible that humanity would use unmanned fishing boats to gather fish without risking the lives of people. This way, Cirein-cròin may not even be interested in attacking the ships without people to punish, and if it did, no lives would be lost. It's even possible that eventually we would find a way to kill Cirein-cròin, even if that involved the use of nuclear weapons. This sounds rather severe, but if it caused enough destruction, it's an option that could possibly be accepted. This would have some short to medium-term effects in the immediate area and ecosystem, but would allow for much safer sea travel and fishing. This would become increasingly likely as land resources became less and less able to feed the population, and we were forced to look to the sea. And now we return to our question, what if Cirein-cròin was real? Well, until the modern age, this would severely limit fishing around the world, assuming Cirein-cròin was able to appear anywhere. This would, of course, lead to far more fish in the ocean, but would also have a number of secondary effects. Seafood, being harder to come by, would be seen as more of a delicacy. Humans would move away from the coast and would depend more on farming in order to eat. Eventually, we may find a way to work around the beast, either with unmanned ships or big weapons, but the course of human history would be forever altered. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. While you're down there, let's change things up. Tell me a joke. I like jokes. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest for answers.